Greetings and salutations. It's Monday, September the 20th, 2021, 8:01 p.m. Eastern, 5:01 p.m. Pacific. I'm Ben. Welcome to Canucks with Guitars, in case I forgot to mention that part. Co-hosted by Terry's 539 Gs and the bent over one himself, Thomas. Welcome one, welcome all. How you doing, Terry?
Not too bad. And yourself?
Not too shabby. Tom, survived another weekend, I see.
Survived it. Got everything. Had a great show with Tony last night. Can't thank Tony and all the guys there and John Conklin because John set it up, to have two gentlemen on, discussing their new book about Van Halen.
It was last night. I still have to catch the I've been busy. I gotta catch the replay of that. Definitely.
I briefly peeked and I was like, "Wow, there's a lot of people on."
Mm-hmm.
They were just super nice guys and like childhood heroes of mine because they gave me access to all the information from my lifetime guitar hero Eddie that I never would have had. So I was just like, "Oh, this is awesome."
Well, let's see. Who do we have in the chat already? We got a Scarborough suitcase in the chat.
Nice.
By that I mean a 2-4. We got
Nice.
Tim Thomas, Michael LaPancy or LaPance,
Hey guys.
not sure which. Dan of New Jersey.
Hey Dan.
Paul McNary, Vin's RJ, BC Rich 581, but he's number one in my heart. Jeff K's here. Janice Lala's here. Guitar Man 45 is here. I'm missing some avatars for some reason. Magic Man, the Hitman Dwight Bailey,
Hitman.
Vin's RJ, Brad Guitar Miller is talking to Brad earlier
Brad.
today. Maybe we should, if you haven't already, check out those Instagram videos. They are, I know you're not as much on the Instagrams, Tom, as other things, but if you have an account, definitely.
I do have an account, barely.
Check it out because you'd be like, I know that guy. I know that in the video series. Like,
oh, cool.
RJ did a video.
Awesome.
Aaron did a video.
Oh,
I even got involved.
Nice.
Heavily edited. And Craig Tomlinson's here. Great to see Craig. Robot Master Switch.
What's up, Robot?
Let's see. Then we get into the pre-gamers here. Mark Effects is here.
What's up, Mark?
Whoops. Don't just go squirreling right by Christopher, for instance. Christopher Neiman?
David Ennis. What's going on, Dave?
Dave Ennis is here. Awesome. House of Twang. Some guy named Terry's 3Gs. Never heard of him.
Symmetry said present.
Symmetry's here. Awesome. Martin Lemaire. Randy Crooks, last night's guest. And the birthday boy himself, Zach Thong, in the chat.
Happy birthday, Zach.
Yeah.
Happy 21st birthday again.
The tree pruner master himself, Awesome Mayhem, is here.
There we go.
Awesome Mayhem?
Or Absolute Mayhem.
Absolutely, he's awesome.
Oh, he's awesome.
Gear Junkie 35, who's just now discovered the awesomeness of the rat circuit. I'm not even going to recommend you get an LPD Vermin then.
That's a can of worms.
That'll just, yeah.
Michael LaPancy said to be 25 again.
Oh, man. And that's this thing. I didn't realize how many rat clones there are out there. You can go down a rabbit hole like a Fuzz Face or a Muff Circuit or...
Just like you can a Muff, exactly. That's the
Go down the rat hole, so to speak.
Ah, I like that. Yes.
So, a teacher where I work, was turning 29 today, and I'm like,
Manfred?
He's like, oh, almost 30, getting old. I'm like, don't even say it. Don't even.
There we go.
That's when you should have corrected him and said, no, the fun doesn't start until you're 40.
Yeah. Doesn't start till you're at least 40, right?
Yeah.
That's when it starts getting fun. Nothing ever hurt my
Keith H.
30s.
See, I almost missed Keith H. and Pete Hickson, even though Pete's lurking by not lurking by saying he's lurking. Mickey Settlemeyer, Simon Hosford. Don't want to miss out on the Hoss.
There you go.
Yeah.
The Hoss.
There we go. That's where
Dwayne McKnight. Did I read that right?
Wayne McKnight?
Billy Baloney.
I think that's
Dwayne McKnight. I was like, Wayne? No. Dwayne?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, not Wayne's World. Excellent.
Dwayne and I have known each other for years. Well, he knows me more than I know him. I know him as a chatter. He can get chatty at times, is what I'm saying.
I got a good one, Ben. Michael Apenti said, I remember when 55 was old. There's a thing going around now I saw. There's a guy on YouTube that is a combat veteran. I think he was a paratrooper. And he's like 73, and the guy is ripped. And he's like nailing into a hard bag and throwing like 3/4 side
Guys like that piss me off, Tom. I'm like, I can't do half that at half his age.
But you know what the trick is? He never stopped. Like ever since he got out of, came back from the war, he never stopped. Like he always stayed in shape,
Definitely will, Simon. Definitely will. Definitely will.
Oh man, Brad and Chris.
I got all my racing out of the way today. Tom, I give you a little heads up.
Mm-hmm.
The end of the Xfinity race. Let's just say the first and second finishers sideways across the start finish line, and I mean like sideways, not like we're a little loose.
This is another must watch.
Wow.
Well, let's just say it was the first time, and I can't remember that to wait for the victory lane speech, he had to go to the medical center first.
Oh, okay.
And ironically enough, at Bristol, victory lane is on the roof of the medical center. How convenient.
There you go. Perfect.
Yeah, there was almost a scrap.
I think either you or you and Doug need to do videos where you explain it first to like total noobs like me, because when you explain that other race, what was happening with the lining up and the teams and the drifting, it made it so much more enthralling to watch. It was like going into the third movie in a series, but you were explaining what the first two were about. Like, you know what I mean?
Well, this one's pretty simple to know. Going around, like when you go around on the corner, they always say it's better to be on the inside. Why?
Okay.
8 tires grip better than 4.
Yeah.
And, well, you know what? 12 grip better than 8. So there's that.
Yeah.
Green, white, checkered mayhem. Yep.
Wow.
So that was awesome. So yeah, we'll be talking about that, and it's a special lunchtime. Someone's stealing my van?
Hey, now you know this isn't pre-recorded.
I'm curious. Don't see anything.
Disclaimer. Cops is filmed in front of a Canadian audience.
BC Rich.
I'm thinking I should check into that, though. I'll be back. Carry on.
All right.
BC Rich said I voted I'm American. Janice said, I like how Thomas's name is separated in my predictive text. See how she wrote it and it comes up Thomas, Santiago.
Well, that's what I said. I like ever since I seen it. It's like I said, it makes me think of singing it like, where on YouTube is Thomas Santiago? John, Ben went to check on where the honking was coming from.
Making sure no one was stealing his van.
Make sure it wasn't a big random flock of Canadian geese trying to enter the house.
Yep, that was my van.
I got assaulted by Canadian geese when I was in Ottawa once. I was probably about, 11, 12 years old. And we went over and we thought we were funny, like throwing like little pebbles at them. And they came for me, and they just relentless, like pecking at me. I'm like, stop!
Hello, John. So, that was
John.
the bar, aka a big ass raccoon.
Oh, really?
Terry was guessing he was wondering if it was geese.
I said
Well,
the
it was about
flock
the size of a
geese
Canadian
trying
dude.
to come in.
Like that thing was not missing any meals.
Oh, okay. Well,
So
we
BAR is
apparently
not
got a
an automatic
question.
rifle. It's a big ass raccoon.
I didn't notice it the first time, but I've just picked it up now. Robot Master Switch says...
The Charvel comment?
Yeah, Charvel
DK24 Pro Mod, HA Gibson, Lester Pulfus Studio version, Fender Telecaster, Butterscotch Mim, nice. All $50 of each other at
Pulse
shop. Which one do you guys pick up?
Which one? How about all 3? at $50 a pop.
No. That's what I thought at first.
Within $50.
$50 of each other.
Oh,
I thought that. Yeah, I thought that at first too. That was my smart ass answer at first. Was buy all three at that price. Personally, I'd take the Les Paul. I don't know. What do you think?
I was going to say, you know what? On paper, that Les Paul should be worth twice what the Telly is.
That's what I was kind of thinking too.
So I'm thinking, obviously, the Les Paul has been more previously enjoyed. We'll go with that.
Mm-hmm.
But that Charvel DK24 Pro Mod, which I'm assuming is also a MIM, if it's new or newer. If it's Asian built, it's out of the picture. But
if it's a MIM,
Mexican built, because let's be honest,
guitars are really hot now.
Out of the five major brands that FMIC owns, being Fender, Squier, Gretsch, Jackson, Charvel, and EVH.
Pro Mod is a MIM.
The Charvel is the least likely I see in stores, guys. Because Jackson has those, like that Jackson I had. They have their $200 Jackson. Lots of places carry Jacksons.
Right.
Less of them carry EVH and Gretches, but you never see Charvels. At least in Canada, you never see Charvels in the stores.
Yeah. I love that. I mean, it's essentially the same as the Charvel toothpaste logo, you know, the Jackson one on yours. I love that. The Jackson with the shark tooth inlays. Like yours, Terry, right there, that's my favorite of all time. Like, if you're going to go metal guitar, just go full Jackson. Don't mess around.
Billy Jean?
Yeah, to me, I'd actually have to see colors, condition.
What color is that one? I don't know if I've seen that one of yours before. The one
last week.
What color is it? Or do I just have a bad memory because of lifestyle choices, Ben?
Definitely. I'm going to go with Stealth Black.
Oh, I do have a bad memory. I did see it. I'm such an idiot.
Like, that's literally, that was
last week, yeah. That is gorgeous, dude. Is that like, are you playing it like the most now?
Yes, actually, I just did another 15-minute video of me playing on it and uploaded it earlier.
I forgot. That's like the maddest of matte finishes. I love that. You go on stage with that and it disappears.
Yeah. All right. Does it say it or is it carved in?
The studio says cock on the back.
No biggie. But if it's carved in, run away. I would still look. I'd look at that Charvel for flippability factor in case you don't bond with the Charvel. Because, again, like John says, now you mentioned it, no Charvels. I'm just saying there's less Charvels out there than anything else. The easiest guitars to find are a Les Paul Studio and a Telly.
Mm-hmm.
See, that's a decent studio. Those things are really going up. You can see it in the Nitro.
Okay. The other thing as well too is, you know, what you have for guitars in itself too. So I
got it. If you're concerned about the cock on the back, because I'll say it, we're 14 minutes in. Just wear your favorite big ass belt buckle for about 6 months and play that. That'll clear that right up. Take care of it.
Ben, if you wear a condom while playing that guitar, I think you're okay, right? You're safe.
Maybe.
And going
Phil
just
Guitar Man's asking what's for dinner, Tom.
I'm boring. I try to eat as healthy as possible. It's brown rice, a little bit of gluten-free soy sauce, a very, very small amount, and then red pepper, sriracha, a whole avocado, about 20 grape tomatoes from my neighbor's garden, pepperoncinis from my neighbor's garden, and organic, like free-range chicken breast. And that's it.
That sounds awesome.
That's my usual dinner. And a small amount of rice. Smaller, half the size of your fist. However big your fist is, half that size of carbs is about what
So about half a cup.
Yeah. That's what it should come out to, is about a half a cup. But then again, if you have really big hands, you're probably much bigger. And it
then the half cup's a full cup.
But you need a cup. Yeah, exactly. So, but avocados, I've been eating a ton of that, man. So good.
Given the nature of what he has listed, it would have to be the
Charvel's going to have the biggest neck.
Charvel.
His
To
soul
me, the
says
Charvel is
Kelly,
the
but
one
the
to
Charvel
buy.
is a 2021 and looks sick. The studio looks good except for the back.
Except for the cock on the back.
And I don't mean me. Yeah, I get it on the telly, but I don't know. Like,
Yeah. That's what I was saying.
If you already got a locking wiggle stick bass guitar, then go for the telly, especially because if that's what you heard. But I'm just thinking, rareability.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's a word, but that's a new word on this channel, rareability factor.
Of course.
We're going to use that, Tom. We're going to start using that as a factor, especially the high gear market's been hot for so long that the rareability, which is similarly, it affects the flippability of a
Yes. Yeah, I was just going to say the Charvels are
radius. It's got a bigger neck.
It seems like, you know,
it essentially has a 50s neck.
The items that are rare become dear much quicker, you know.
Yep.
Yeah. And just to quickly answer Michael Lepensi, probably the neck that you're thinking about on the Les Paul would be from the 2015 models. That most of them were the Les Paul tribute year. They actually were made with a wider neck.
Mm-hmm. Is it just wider, or is it also a thinner wide neck?
It's wider in general.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't matter thickness or thinness. It still has an overall.
Works. Okay, so Jeff K asks, Ben, Tom, Terry,
Yep.
tips for knocking some of that polygloss off the back of the neck so it feels more like a satin finish. Scott Bright pad? All right, let's start with Tom. What's your go-to method for knocking back finish, or do you knock back finishes to start with? First,
yeah, I just take them
all
all
you do,
off.
then how do you go
take
about
the whole thing
it?
off.
And don't just say play it for half an hour, because not everybody has that option.
No. I'm not the person to talk to because I've never had a neck warp on me. But I'll just take even on a Les Paul where they finish the back of the neck for increased, rigidity. Oh, I'll just take that finish off. But then what I do is I use, guns. Anyone that's into guns, gun stock oil, otherwise known as 3-in-1 lube or 3-in-1 oil. Buy it at like any woodworking store, auto parts store.
True Oil.
Yeah, same thing. True Oil, same thing. Lube the back of the neck up with that.
So what are you using to take the finish off, though?
I'm probably going to use a chemical. If it's poly, a chemical remover. If you don't want to go chemical, I'd start with maybe an 800 grit or 1,000 grit.
Okay. Terry, how do you go about?
I've tackled it varying ways over the years. The Scotch Brite pad, the quadruple zero steel wool. The most common thing that I've usually done, though, is actually just kind of polished it out, like using a high grit sandpaper.
Which is essentially what the 4-knot
steel
is. So I'm seeing a lot of answers, and I'll say they're the correct answers. Okay, so myself, I use 4-knot steel wool because I bought a big-ass box of it because I used it for everything, and now I don't use it for everything because I own things like fret erasers. So, but I liked it because I like that steel wool. I can just put some in my hand, literally, and I'll just do that because that way, where I would grip more, it's going to wear a bit more. And for instance,
so you put it in your hand and you put it in your hand and just do this.
I do.
Yeah.
Pretty much. And back and forth, But
now, if it's a bolt-on, I'll take the neck off and do that. But I don't use 4-aught steel wool anymore. I had too many problems with the little.
All right, there we go. I get the light reflection. As you can see, there's still a bit of a finish on that neck. But what I do is, like I say, I'll do that, or 600 grit sandpaper, another good one. So I'll do that, just basically scuff it up, right? Now, play it for a couple of months. It starts getting mungy,
gooey,
a little shiny.
Yeah.
I just hit it again with the steel wool. Yeah. And I've done that a dozen times. And
eventually you get this almost like crystallized layer where nothing's going through, and that's it. I mean, my 69 neck, it's just, I don't even know how to explain it. It's just there's no more. The wood is permanently on a cellular level it's just dried out as it's gonna get. You know what I mean?
I got to the point where I was so finicky about necks that I was carrying 4-knot steel wool in my tickle trunk to gigs. Because I'd be like, I'm like, grab some steel wool, and I'd be in between songs, giving it a few passes.
Was it in your tickle trunk?
Hey, Mark.
Hey, Mark.
I was just gonna add, the other thing is, if you don't care about the gloss, if your purpose is to just knock it back to that it looks satin, if that isn't an issue and the gloss is fine, my other suggestion would be Dunlop 65 and wax the back of the neck.
I mean, I'm curious to try that. Yeah, sup, Mark? Yeah, I saw a bunch of things. Floop-de-doo, he just says, just use a grinder. Sure.
Yeah.
Scotch Brite green. Your green scrub pads, from the Singular area.
Yep.
That'll work. It takes a while. Does take quite a while, but that will. Used to use chalk, sure. Propane torch, sure.
Natural. That's what do they call that? Do it at home baked
just
maple.
Just with some WD-40. That'll keep her nice and slick.
Oh God, WD-40.
Where you treat your open wood fretboards with? Just a little WD-40.
No, the WD-40. Have you ever seen the WD-40, the silicone one, like the one that's a yellow and gray bottle or whatever? Man, that stuff is like you'll never. It's the most non-viscous, material you'll ever get on your hands. Like literally, if you put your hands on the floor, you go woo.
Soak your hand in 30 weight. Sure.
There you go. That'll work.
Used, of course. Yeah. You don't need all the dinosaur vitamins in there.
Billy Baloney has an awesome one.
Sure.
Now, Ben, if you want to go the opposite, if you want to make sure you don't drop your guitar picks, just put some of this on your hand, and then it doesn't move. It's like
Vaseline, Astroglide. Oh my God!
That's all you do. If just before you go and play a set, if you're going to partake, just break up your stickiest bud with this hand.
You just put your little finger right in there.
Yeah.
And she's good. And I'm telling you, that pick will stick to your finger and not go anywhere. But if you want to flick it, it'll come right off.
Those white 3M pads, sure. Yeah.
Yeah, they're like super fine. I think the white ones.
Hello, Eddie Van Haskell.
Hey, Eddie.
Hey, while we're on the subject, do you guys roll your fingerboards if they're not rolled? I can't stand 90-degree fingerboard edges. Drives me insane.
Yep.
Like my buddy, I rolled his on his, $130 Squire. And he goes, "Oh my gosh, what did you do? Put a new neck on this?" I said, "No, I did about 4 or 5 hours of fretwork and I rolled the edges."
You know what really makes it noticeable when a guitar needs its edges rolled is when you do the fret sprout on a guitar.
Oh yeah.
And then all of a sudden you're like, "Whoa! I thought I just did the fret sprout." You're like, "Oh, that's the wood." Because you're like, "What is sharp? I don't like this." What's up, Charles?
But I like the old. I mean, some people do this and that's fine, but I hate personally doing the method that some people do, sanding down to roll the edges. Biggest screwdriver I have and just compress that wood down.
Screwdriver. I've used sockets.
Yep. That's the other thing that works perfect because it's got that such a smooth edge on it.
AJ gave me a good tip on one, actually, and it works great for control, too. A nickel.
Oh, I never thought of that.
Especially because your American nickels have that little ridge, that little, which will compress because it is a singular little fine point. Because it's not the whole. Right. Yeah, so JJ used me. Yeah, just go to town with the nickel all over. I was like, oh, okay.
It's almost like a miniature English wheel.
Yeah, exactly.
Like a really, really micro English wheel.
In my instances, it depends on the neck. Because some necks could naturally already be rolled, but honestly,
not a glass one. I wouldn't recommend a glass one.
like the Squire Starcaster. It is a little sharp on its edges, and it probably could use the edges rolled on it.
My signature guitar, that was one of the things. I think Travis does that now. He has to roll the edges. Mm-hmm. Or at least roll the edges more than it was, because I was like, Nope. Because, well, and that's the thing. That's part of the feedback, right? Like, we're going to release a signature guitar. Because my big thinking is, if you go into a store and buy someone's signature guitar, it should be exactly like the one he plays. Okay. And they aren't. They rarely are. Now, granted, if you're one of those dudes that, especially those who have techs, because they're the worst. If you have gas and a tech, your gas increases because you just make them do it. So
you just buy
you're into pickups and you're swapping out pickups every 2 weeks, okay. If your signature guitar doesn't have the exact same pickups, and they said, well, yeah, but that thing's had 8 pickups in it since then.
Yeah.
They're like, well, what's wrong with the one that comes in? You're like, well, that's fine, but I'm always searching for something new.
Yeah.
And guess what? When the new signature comes out, it will have the newest whatever I'm happy with.
Mm-hmm.
So, Milt?
Yeah, you know what? That'd be crazy to be a tech for somebody to say, hey, I just picked up this guitar. It looks awesome. Here, I'm sure you can get it playing again. Meanwhile, it might need like 50, 100 different things.
Even though it's personal choice, but rather than putting a factory setup on the guitar, for shits and giggles, why don't you put the artist setup on it?
I've heard of like custom shop guys flying out or being flown out to like a gig. They bring Slash's Les Paul, to the hotel room, even though it was a backup, and he fixes the Les Paul headstock break in a hotel bathroom.
Yeah.
And they use it the next night on stage. That's insanity. Imagine the pressure. And he said,
I remember that.
Playing the hell out of it. You remember that story?
Yeah, and buffing out the finish with toothpaste in the hotel bathroom.
That's insane. I mean, it's just so crazy.
Which I tried once. I tried doing a buff job using toothpaste. After that, I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of crazy. I've tried that technique too.
It smelled great, but it didn't work.
I found it was like too sticky.
I should point out, I forgot to last night, for those who don't know, RJ Ronquillo in the chat here, he does a live stream every Saturday morning at 10
What's up, RJ?
10:15 Eastern, 9:15 a.m. Central, Coffee Time with RJ. Check it out. That's where Tom and I and Terry are, assuming that they're not busy and awake.
Gets my butt out of bed,
Yeah.
I'm usually at jiu-jitsu with my son anyway, but
exactly.
If I don't have that, it helps me to wake up, because otherwise I'd sleep till noon.
Yes, good evening, RJ. Sorry. I was just waiting for a...
I think today's the last day of one of those pedal board giveaways, too.
Actually, I thought it was
the free pedal one. I saw Lawrence posted it, which I think may or may not have one of these on it. And demo out, hopefully I'll get it shot and edited and uploaded tomorrow.
Nice.
For the new
Soleil Fuzz.
Yeah, not the Soleil, as I called it in the unboxing video. Or maybe I did on purpose. I don't know. No, I didn't. I noticed that. I was like, holy crap, that's French. I should have known that. Damn it. You don't expect Lawrence to throw you the curveball. I figured it was Spanish or something like Soleil.
I watched a video today that RJ just put out. I think he just put out today, and if I'm wrong, he can correct me if he's still here. But
thanks, Brad.
The waterfall pedal. First of all, it's hand painted and looks psychedelic as hell. But the fact that it does the chorusy goodness, the phasey goodness, and the what's the third? Is it do like a flangey or quasi? What is it? A vibrato?
Like, yeah, vibe, chorus, and flange. I think
that's it. Yeah, or phaser. Anyway, but it was really good.
Yeah. Robot Master Switch. What's that fuzz sound like, eh?
Mm-hmm.
Kind of want heard. Well, it is a newsletter exclusive. Don't know how many are being made. I know there's already some out in the wild. I'm not looking at anybody in particular. That's not a YouTube demo person. We're not mentioning names. And other people out there. Oh, there we go. The Jam Pedals Ripley Fall. Does things I don't understand. That's impressive then, RJ, because if you don't understand it, I'm lost. Fruitcake Tony's here. We were talking about your show last night, Tony. I haven't caught it yet. I'm going to catch tomorrow, maybe, while I'm editing this. I can watch Halenville while I edit the video on this. Aha! I love it when a plan comes together.
And it's the Adam D.
Brad says, at least you had a chance to play it more. Yeah, that I did. Yep. That is true. Maybe I'll pair these up together in the video.
Ooh. I
don't know yet. I'm just saying the vermin into the cascade is a magical thing. Yep, I said it. Adam D. What's up? 59 people in here. Do it, Ben. Yeah, I did not realize how much kind of rockabilly type stuff you do with a plate reverb. Like, I think, you think it would all be springy reverb stuff for the drip, which...
Yeah.
I tried explaining reverb drip to Lawrence, and Lawrence he's not familiar with the term drip. I'm like, I don't know what else to call it. Because I'm not technical. I just know it as drip.
It's the drip. Got that good drip.
So, I'm not saying there's another reverb coming out from our favorite pedal builder. He goes, does this drip? Kind of. But I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I'm like, I don't know. Give it to Ryan from 60 Cycle Hum. He's all about the drip. Give it to RJ knows drip. He's probably got a degree in drip.
From the Spring Academy.
Driponomics.
Spring Academy of Reverb.
So yeah, we get that out.
Reverberation University.
I got a bunch of workshop stuff. I really wish the last time I was out at Richie's, I didn't forget to grab that crowning file because I got to crown frets on more than one guitar.
Stuff, yeah.
Well, and it's high frets, so. Oh. But one of them is that Les Paul Jr. And normally I have no issue smacking a hammer on a fretboard on a high fret. But anything with a Gibson lean back on a headstock or even an up phone.
She makes you nervous.
Think snap. Oh, man.
Yeah, right.
So, yeah, it's going to be one of those hang the neck off the workbench.
Good one, RJ.
Nice. There you go, Tom. Got my master's in drip from UC Fullerton.
There you go, 100%. If no one has watched the Key and Peele where they do the East versus West football and they have the names, you have to watch it. It's hilarious. There you go, Antibiotics. We'll get rid of the drip.
What if you were a surf rock band and you called yourself the Antibiotics?
Antibiotics.
It'd be like a reverb pedal called like the Infected Drip or something.
Ooh. Zombie rockabilly group.
Infectious drip.
Yeah, right. Aaron Balake, Morehouse College.
What's up, Max?
My favorite though is what's the guy's name? Well, there's one that he just comes up and he goes, Fuzz.
Oh,
hey, Hellface.
And I do want to say, especially for anybody that's any time zones west of us, Terry, I'm going to get political for a minute.
Yep.
I don't normally get political on this channel, but hey, it's election day. Get out and vote. Rock the vote. Sure, we'll do that. Or as I always say, if you didn't vote, you can't complain. But if you didn't vote, as soon as you vote, then you voted. You have a voice. Then you can bitch and moan all you want about the good guys, bad guys, whoever. I don't care who you vote for. Just go out and vote. It's your democratic right, even though we're in a social republic. But I think, that's what you would call it. Because it's... So do that. West of which states? Master Machetier? Master Machetier. I don't know, provinces. So basically Manitoba West. That would be a chorus pedal, Adam D.
The panty dripper pedal. Yeah. I like that.
That sounds more like a pedal that Glenn Fricker would come out with.
Or Satchel.
Yeah.
Once upon a time, it was in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Couple of the guys from the band met a couple girls from the college. He said that the stuff in the bottom of the panties was like punching an eclair.
Robot Master Switch. If it was only that simple.
Yeah. Last one on the log wins. Yeah, we do log rolling. That Moose Polo, that's always a hit.
You know what the biggest secret of Canada is that they don't export? That they have so many way hotter women than the U.S., but they don't let America know about it. They just you guys just keep them all up there and enjoy them. And I'm like, I want a couple down here.
So there's a reason why we keep Quebec French.
Exactly.
Hey, I was just gonna say that. Hey, that is why we go to Quebec, eh?
You go to Quebec, it's like the most beautiful women you will see in all of North America. I mean, trust me.
And not understand a word they're saying.
Nope. It's okay, I'm not looking to talk. For that
Smile
long.
and nod.
Yep.
There
Oh
we
man,
are.
I thought I fell in love for a weekend when I went last time for a bachelor party.
It happens.
Master Machete said his nickname comes from the time he cut himself with a machete in his grandfather's farm.
Ah.
So yes, he does have chops. I like that.
D, yeah, that's kind of true, but the real thing would have been when Andre the Giant was alive. That was the person.
Yeah, but that's not fair.
You did not challenge that man to a drinking competition.
Yeah, but barring that. Although, I just remember the year Richie and I went down south for the NASCAR races because we bought, what was the biggest case you could buy? 32 packs of beer?
Oh, yeah.
The big cubes? Maybe they're 30 packs. I don't know. But we got like 4 of those.
Okay.
And then we ran out of beer. And then we got...
And run out of beer? Never.
Oh, that literally... We were down to the last case by the second or third day.
That's rough.
Not all me. I didn't even get through one case yet. And then Richie damn near polished off 90 beers on his own. So,
oh, man.
Oh, yeah, I think he was doing damn near a 30-pack a day alone.
Wow.
So we cleared through the Canadian beverage system, as well as, handing them out to various people and playing our favorite depth charge game where you got a barrel of Blue Light, or not Blue Light, Bud Light. You drop a Labatt's Blue in amongst. Whoa, what's that? Perfect. So
nice.
We ran out of Blue and we switched to Budweiser. And the party did not slow down at all, which was weird because we're just pounding them back thinking, well, it's American beer, Tom.
Yeah, it's a lot lighter.
It's lighter. It's easy, right? Till we're like standing there doing one of these and some buddies walk by you. They said, y'all know our Budweiser's 5% in the state, right? And literally Rich and I looked at each other and in unison we're like, that explains a lot.
Yeah.
That reminds me, I seen the worst yet. It was a Texas case of beer, so 99 cans or whatever.
Okay.
Oh,
and
the
it
big
was
long one, yeah.
And it was Pabst Blue Ribbon.
Oh, yeah. I think they're the only ones to do that. First of all, I
was like, oh my god.
There's microbrews that do it in the U.S., but they make a 100-can one just so they can think they're cool, or they'll do a 101-can one. But it's literally like 2 cans wide, and it's like 50 cans long. Like to show like three dudes bringing it to the car.
I forgot about those.
A couple microbreweries have done it here, but when they do it, it's like $50 for the 100-pack. So it's like, no, I don't need.
Yeah, you always knew when a buddy went to Quebec because they come back with a 60-pack of Coors Light. It was always Coors Light for whatever reason. It was always a 60-pack. Coors Light. Hey, James. James likes the PBR. Well, you can have my share. You cannot drink that. The last time I drank a PBR, I was standing next to RJ Ronquillo. So there you go.
The craziest. Have you ever seen like in a hotel, in any country, pretty much in a hotel, like back, like where they dock all their booze, and literally they always have pallets of beer, like ceiling height, like, okay, we got, 15,000 cases of Budweiser, and we got 10,000.
Yeah, I used to work in a place that when I worked on a riverboat casino, we had 4 bars to stock.
Yeah.
So we
like
had a walk-in cooler that looks like a beer store into itself because the walk-in cooler was like, I don't know, 10 by 20 at least, just stacked.
Now, did you guys have to re-up the cooler from the dry stash, or did you just pull from the cooler?
Just pull from the cooler.
Okay, because I like a buddy that used to work where they'd have to
sucked.
pull from the cooler, and then another guy would have to re-up from the warehouse.
I usually each bar I put in 8 2-4s of cold beer, and my hands were so fucking numb.
Well, and then your shoulders and your lats are killing by the end.
Oh, not to mention trying to move a dolly with 8 2-4s on it.
It's a weird angle with the dolly, the way you have to hold the 2-4s on it, you know? It's such a weird angle.
Somebody asked what I was drinking. Le Bleu.
The blue.
Here I rock Z Blues. Molson
In my official
Old English is the best bang for your buck. I can't.
keeper
Probably
holder.
is. Dude, mine is so
blackjack
worn
guitar.
out. Let me see if I have it right here
It's a
still.
blackjack guitar.
Check how worn out mine is, because I always use it mowing the lawn, and then the drink sweats into it. Look at that.
Oh my god!
It's Relict.
It is Relict. You know, I grab it like
Relic.
like a
That's what you
dirty,
call
bloody,
heavy
like-
relic.
Yeah. That was only after like 2 months.
I want a Killer Dwarfs one like Dave Riom has.
I mean, it still works the same. So I mean,
I would have got one this year had they had the golf tournament, because the Killer Dwarfs do a charity golf tournament every year in Durham, which is like an hour up the highway. And I have no
definitely gotta
desire.
go.
I have no desire to play in a charity golf tournament.
Right, but
the last time they had it, which was 2019, Dave showed up, and Dave doesn't golf either. So he just drove around in a golf cart heckling people. And I'm like, there is plenty of room in that golf cart, Terry, for me. Because there's 1 or 2 people in that cart. And you know there's always a rear-facing seat. That's when I want to be sitting on. And I'll turn into Joe Flaherty and Happy Gilmore. You suck! You know, stuff like that.
you could just be like the Canadian Joe Walsh and be like, just keep me in beers and I'm fine. You
Well,
know?
yeah, it'd be great, too, because Dave's, he's a riot. And the Killer Dwarfs guys, they're all great.
I don't know if Magic Man is addressing this to us or chat or whoever, but he
What's
says...
the best HSS Strat for around $1,000?
Ooh, good question.
So Magic Man is in the U.S., I believe.
Yeah.
So let's give us a budget of $12.99, Terry.
And we're talking like new, or are we talking like used, or what are we talking?
Well, we'll go new.
Okay.
I'm going to say at about that price point.
So like 1,000 US, 1,300 Canadian. You're saying around like $12.99 Canadian.
I already have my answer, so...
All right, go ahead, Terry.
Yeah, go ahead, Terry. Because I'm
Roadhouse.
That's kind of where I was leaning, but I'll give another answer just because. But that's a great answer. Those are way underpriced for what you get. They're great value. I had a buddy play one of those, and in fact, if RJ's still here, he knows him. A mutual friend of RJ and myself, Chris Young, who I just called Toph, short for Topher, short for Christopher, so it became Toph. But yeah, he played one all through school, and this is a guy that owned like Tyler, like custom shops that he ordered and got 3 years later. But he would play this one all the time. It was a Roadhouse. Great choice. I was going to say, if you were going to say used the old version of the Roadhouse, or back in the day, Terry, have you ever played the Lone Star Strats?
I haven't played one, but I've
Same
heard
kind
of
of
them and
vibe,
seen
though.
them.
Like
Yes.
same kind of vibe. You get more for your money than you'd think you would for the price.
Yeah,
Iroxy Blue says the Fender Lone Star. That's probably what I would
So this
say,
comes in right at the price point I mentioned. I think these are $12.99.
And look at that finish, dude.
Yeah.
Sparkle
Lime
Jade.
soda. Sparkle
That's why I
lime
didn't
soda.
hold it up like I did last time. Like
Sparkle
that.
Jade, is that what they call it?
Yeah, Sparkle Jade.
So it's sexy, man.
Or Mystic Jade, I think, is actually the...
That
I don't know what's got Jade in the name.
Color.
I remember that.
It sounds like a Paul Reed Smith color.
Guess what,
Jade.
guys?
Yeah.
Pack in another 500 or so in value into what you get, because he prefers to buy used. So if we can buy used at that price, now you're getting into, you could get an American Performer Strat, probably at about that, because they're only like 1,500-1,600 new Canadian.
If you're willing to buy used and you've got 1,000 US, you could catch a deal and get like a really nice.
You can get American Strat.
I've seen sometimes, you're looking at a guitar new, anywhere from 1,600 up to sometimes even almost $2,000 that you can catch new for, right around $1,000. Sometimes if you get lucky, at least a $1,500-$1,600 brand new guitar. I've seen all day long for 1,000 used, man. So that gives you a lot more options. And it's crazy to say a lot more options because, Ben, do you remember when, like, you could get like an American standard Strat for $499 US, and it was like, it was perfect. It worked great, and like you didn't have to go any higher in price. Like,
I remember. I think when I started playing, they were 900 Canadian for an American standard.
They're $499.
And 10 years later, they were still 900 because it wasn't until the mid 2000s that they started
going way up. Yep.
And now that'd be your American professional. So you're looking at twice that. Yeah, they're coming around 2,100 Canadian, which I think.
Yeah, House of Twang brings up.
I'll tell you how much stuff's gone up. When I bought my Sir, it was the most expensive guitar I ever bought. I bought it on payments, like $80 a month or whatever, and it was $1,599. It was $1,600 for a Sir.
Used GNL, you can get a used American GNL for $1,000 US, easy.
I mean, but think about that. A Sir that's $2,500 now. And it was $1,600, $1,599 when I bought it. Bought it on payments. I remember that.
Nice.
It was the only place that would give me credit at the time. Like,
what's up, Kunar?
Years and years ago. I think it was Sound Pure was where I bought it.
The Albanian assassin himself.
Hey, there he is.
That's an inherent problem. Like, he also said specifically. Did he specifically say Fender Stratocaster? Because there is so many other.
No, he just said an HSS Strat, so that's what I went with.
Okay.
If somebody says a Super Strat to me, then I'm thinking, okay, well, we're going with the same thing, but probably without a pick guard and a flatter radius fretboard.
Because, I mean, if you go in that vein, you can also look at the Charvels and so forth.
Well, yeah, because that's what, yeah. Had he said a Super Strat, then I would definitely go that route. But since HSS Strat, I would think you want it a little more traditional, but you want that humbucker option. So then steers you more towards, your Strats, your Sirs, your Tom Andersons, assuming they were in the price range, but those aren't. An HSS Tom Anderson, I don't consider a Super Strat. That's an HSS Strat.
Yeah.
And
Tyler, you can go either way. Tyler, you can get their classic, which is very much
now. If you said HSS or HSH, then we know that's a super duper Strat.
We know that
we did a whole show on that says on that. Because I decided if you got two humbuckers in a single, that's a super duper Strat.
I remember when you said that, and it was perfect. Super duper Strat.
House of Twang brings up the great point as well too. You could also do a parts build.
Yeah.
True. The only issue with parts builds is you never get your money back out of it.
Nope. Yeah.
Yeah.
If it's your forever guitar, do it. But
yes, it is.
Because the way I see it is, you're doing a parts caster, you're getting it for only the price of the parts. So when you go to sell it, you're going to sell it for either
Tom, it's like building a rat rod to get back to cars. And the problem with building a rat rod is you got to find somebody with the same taste as you to sell that rat rod to.
Exactly.
That's the thing about building a custom car. You got to hope somebody else digs the same thing you dig. Whereas if you restore a car back to factory condition, it's a much more wider audience. Because they can go ahead and customize it as they want.
Even if you do a resto mod, you might get someone that doesn't have as much money, but they're not interested in all originality. They just want it to have the basic look, but they're not a super nerd about, you swap this out, you swap this out.
Yeah, and in most resto mods, it's stuff you do anyway, like improve brakes, improve suspension.
Or safety stuff you have to do,
Yeah. Brakes,
Well, I just mean in the U.S. at least, it's like, do you want to not be hassled on the road because you're driving it more than the allotted, like 500 miles a year is like an antique tag,
right?
Because you actually drive it all the time.
To daily driver, open exhaust. Sure.
Crank
Eddie did it. Yeah, but Eddie could, Eddie's did have some resale value because he got like famous or something.
It's a crank start, like a Model A. That's your daily driver.
Like, otherwise you might as well just put homemade guitar. Because unless I know who you are, who built it, you have some form of a reputation.
I love when people list things on Reverb like, this was owned by the guitar tech of the brother of the third backup guitar players from one tour of the Doobie Brothers in 1974. And let me tell you, he was a monster player. It's worth 10 grand. Yeah, exactly.
Scott, what's wrong with drum brakes? The harder you press the pedal, the less they work. Yes, and let's get to that, Terry. Thank you. I wanted to a couple minutes ago, and then I completely forgot again. I wanted to thank the patrons. You can get a shout out. I almost did at the top of the show, but I'd like to get a few more people in here, and then I forgot. You can become a patron at Patreon at that address. Really helps out, believe me. Get a shout out every week. We may be getting rid of the $1 tier because Patreon really hates the $1 tier. They liked it 5 years ago, I guess, but they don't like it now. So I'm fighting them. Guitar Man 45, Symmetry, Paul McNary, Mickey Settlemeyer, Joe C, Keith H, Knucklehead 0, Unfucking Believable, Charles 75N, John ZD 351, JP Page 2, Jose Benito Martinez Jr., Fruitcake, Tony Bent, Tom Blackjack Guitar, Grumpy Mike Guitar, Craig Tomlinson, Cousin Todd Flowers, Charles Green, Brad Guitar Miller, Absolute Mayhem, Other Left, Randy Crooks. Yep, that's all of them. And shout out to Lawrence that was in the chat last night, our newest channel member, because I like to shout out the newest ones. Who's the newest patron? I guess technically Randy, because he came back, but he was a patron before. So Other Left? Least time as patron? Sure. I don't know. There we go. But yeah.
I like Warm Next as well, Magic.
And there is more and more content coming out over there that's like the random videos will be over there. Obviously, Amanda's doing a whole series over there, as well as channel members when I say over there. Sam has a video out this week at some point over there.
Nice.
I was told.
Awesome.
You put that one on the patrons because that's what mommy does. Okay. Hey, Cushman. Hey, Simon. You know what usually goes along with drum breaks, guys?
What's that?
Steering wheels that have about a quarter turn of play in them.
Oh, yes.
Isn't that fun?
Oh, Night, yeah. Mark.
Here's Mark.
And they're always giant and really thin steering wheels. So you're like,
oh, gosh.
Robot Master says, why does the tip of the soldering iron get sweeter as it heats up? I don't know, but I know you can smell the heat.
Well, usually after you put it on your tongue for the fifth time, then that's where the sweetness.
It's not a pencil. You don't know.
It's that burning flesh. I never got that. Why do people lick pencils? What does that do?
Back when it was actually lead, it would actually transfer better to paper.
That's what
we're
I
of
thought,
a generation where we were already onto graphite, so
right, exactly.
Yeah,
because I stabbed my older sister in the leg very deeply as a kid, and if they had been lead at the time, probably would have given her lead poisoning. But I didn't.
Oh yeah. Yep. Yeah, I just remember when I learned to solder, my buddy Richard Mutton, who's going to come over here to help me fire up Dad's Ford in the next little bit.
Nice.
I'm like, how do I know when the soldering iron's ready? You know, because most people use it on the cooling thing, but they kept cooling it down because you're cleaning it too much.
Right.
He goes, no, just bring it up, smell the heat. I'm like, what are you talking about? Smell the heat. And then you get it within 4 inches of your nose. And because the hot air will cut, and your nose is so sensitive, especially on the underside. He's like, I'm like, holy crap, you can smell the heat.
Yep.
So smell the heat. And that's why you always see me sniffing my soldering iron in videos. I'm always
smelling the heat. It sounds like an 80s cover band, Smell the Heat.
I like that. Hey, VJ.
What's up, VJ?
Hey, VJ. See you, my friend. Yeah, good question. Why do people lick things? I don't know. Henning licks everything he likes.
Take care, Mark.
Zach played 4 left-handed guitars today at the Belleville L&M. Cool. That's a good birthday when a lefty can play 4 different guitars. That's a birthday miracle right there. Michael smells the heat. Sweet. Okay, so I'm not alone. Good. Just those who solder. Next time you solder. Now, don't do it once you get the flux on there. Don't be huffing flux.
Robot Master Switch makes Richard shapes with the leftover solder.
Oh, God.
Sure. It's ready when the solder melts. Well, there's that, too. You just hold it right there for minutes on end.
Oh, Michael Mente, I solder pipes. He's doing the real soldering.
Oh, you don't need to smell the torches. Mike, my friend just sprung on a Boss SY300 without his wife knowing, so I might have to tell her it's mine on loan to him. You're a good friend, Mike.
Someone was saying the other day when the someone said the website for which one was it that was shut down? Was it Music Go Round or
Well, Michael, we can throw that right in.
AMS, you mean?
Yeah,
not here. We discussed the old 9-volt battery test.
I should order something and then just tell my wife our card got hacked, and that way I didn't order that. Yeah. If I would have got it just before they shut down that day, you know. I knew a dude though, like legit would have the same guitar case.
VJ says the talent does not solder. He pays someone for that.
This friend of mine would take the empty guitar case. He would take the empty guitar case out, Terry, and then buy a guitar with no case and bring it home. And she thought he was just out jamming with his buddy, coming home with the case. And then after like 6 months, she would just, why is that guitar there? Oh, I've had that. Yeah.
Night, Randy.
Yeah, or you just buy nothing but black guitars, or
exactly.
Or what is it? You buy a Squire Affinity, you show it to the wife, hey, $200, blah blah blah, and then you take it back and you get a custom shop that looks the same, so with the same finish.
Yep.
Oh yeah, that's that burst Strat that he's had. Yeah, picked up $200, and meanwhile the person's going, "There's no way that custom shop's $200. You got played."
Yeah, right.
And then you just give her the credit card and say, "Go nuts, honey." Because I did.
It was only $200, but I just paid in 20 payments.
I just got this from Amazon Prime.
I'm picturing Robot Master Switch with a Bic and an army man.
I'm curious what like the most expensive stuff anyone's bought on Amazon Prime. Like, have you bought a TV on Amazon Prime?
Most expensive thing I've ever bought on Amazon.
I haven't bought anything like a TV, but I'm trying to think. It's probably a couple $100.
My lighting rig, I think that was like $120.
I think it's a couple $100 for me. I never want to buy anything too expensive because I always get sketched out. But
if in my case, it's the RAM that's sitting in my computer right now. I'm still paying for.
There we go. But my buddy found a $900 guitar he wanted. Told the wife he found one that was $1,500. They settled on $900.
That's awesome.
I need that meme of that dude doing this.
Yeah,
that's so good. I gotta remember that one. But
what a man!
I don't have the white.
What a man could so with all y'all's pedals. What? What a man could with all y'all's pedals.
What a man could do. What a man could do with all y'all's pedals. You would say do instead of so. That's why.
You build a lot of pedal boards. I should play more. I play in the demos a bit. I will be playing more once I get better internet at some point. Then these two guys will get fired temporarily. Or we'll go to an every other week. I don't know. We'll figure it out. But yeah, once I have better bandwidth, I'd love to get back to playing and do my virtual busking and stuff.
Yeah.
Hear Greasy Weasel again.
Get greasy. I was
just gonna say
some greasiness.
It's all good, Michael. It's all good. Yeah, it's just
we figured out what you meant. You're good, brother.
It's called a furlough. Yes.
I'm gonna have to go bald with headphones. It's too hot in this room.
So there we go. Well, we're coming up to the top of the hour, and I have stuff to do. So we're gonna wrap things up here. After, though, we do parting words with Terry and Tom and me, but starting with Terry. One more lap around the horn. We're going clockwise for some weird reason. We should be going counterclockwise. I always turn left.
Go whatever way.
Nice. Just a comment. Flippy-doo told his ex he won a guitar in a raffle. Another one from blind auction for charity. Perfect.
That's awesome. Thanks everyone who's been tuning into the channel and checking out my occasional videos. Again, trying to put more content out on the channel. Hope everyone's doing well, and I hope everyone has an awesome week this week.
I think you mean Doug's show, Charles. I think Doug is still using Greasy Weasel as his theme song. That would be on Down and Back with Corn Doug. Because we just have the Matt Kenseth car running, idling. That's it.
Just the brum, brum, brum.
So loud. So loud. It was awesome. So, yeah. Tom, parting words?
I guess I'll just repeat the message I may or may not have got from someone who shall remain unnamed, but I'm not as think as you stoned I am. That's it. That was a perfect message. So you know who you are if you're
good, Charles.
Watching or not.
Oh, excuse me. And Charles, because you were coming in late, NAS Canucks will be on at 12:30 Eastern tomorrow afternoon. Lunchtime letdown show.
I might actually be in lunch at school, so I might be able to watch.
Cool. Yeah,
I'll have a bunch of kids yelling at me.
5 races to cover.
Like, what are you watching? What are you watching? What are you watching? And then they'll be like, oh, it's in front of yours. How many subscribers does he have? How many views does he have? They're like way into YouTube.
Not enough on that channel. Come on over, folks. 53 people can't all be wrong. We're sitting rock steady at 53 subs. We were briefly at 54, but that guy didn't like it, so he's back to 53. VJ says, if one has a good channel, may they promote it here. As long as I'm cool with the channel, too. I usually say email me. Unless you're a regular, then, and VJ, I've seen you around. We talk about your channel. Check out VJ's channel. He's cool. Robot Master Switch, he's a regular. I'd say check out his channel. If it's just hey, my buddy Dale has a channel, and I don't know who Dale is, I'm a little leery to promote it.
Yeah.
Did you catch any Bristol action? Oh, that's what we'll be talking about tomorrow, Hit Metalworks. Oh, all about the Bristol, baby. Lot of bent sheet metal. A lot of bent sheet metal. And with the Indy cars out at Laguna Seca, the animal population is considerably lower.
I'm just going to apologize right now. It was just regular sheet metal, and then I got involved. And then
I just felt bad. Good thing PETA wasn't out at the IndyCar test 2 weeks ago, because apparently about 2 dozen squirrels got taken out.
I heard about that. I didn't see
and then sadly a rabbit got hit with about 5 laps to go.
Aww.
Well, it's like baseball when they throw it and the guy hits literally what would have been a home run.
Yeah, it was a very similar situation. You're coming around a corner at 200 miles an hour and there's a rabbit besides a dart across the road.
The dreaded Randy Johnson hitting the dove or pigeon incident, 102 mile per hour fastball.
When I lived in Pittsburgh, we would have 45 to 50 mile an hour roads, not quite highways, but county roads, and you'd be going 45 or 50 or sometimes 60 on them because they were supposed to be 50. And turkeys can fly, but only a little bit. They're like giant bowling balls, and they'll get about 8 or 10 feet off the ground. They either go through the side of your windows and just destroy your car, or they land on your roof and cave the whole thing in because they get really heavy. And they had a huge turkey problem. It was worse than the deer. Where I live in Pennsylvania, it's just all deer. Right. I've almost hit 4 deer this year already.
That happened at Pocono in '86. Kyle Petty hit a deer on the backstretch.
My dad totaled a car when I was a kid, hit a buck. I mean, totaled it completely.
Hit Metalworks says, I missed the Laguna Seca race. We'll have to catch a replay. Yeah, I won't give you away any spoilers. Unless you watch the show tomorrow, then sorry, that's what we do.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I love Laguna Seca too, John. One of my faves. So
Thanksgiving revenge.
Thanksgiving revenge.
Oh, yeah. I love turkey. I love me some turkey. I eat turkey every day of the week, I'm honest.
So on that note, that's Terry. That's Tom. Hey, I'm Ben.
Turkey Tom.
Please subscribe if you're new or you're just hate watching for a long time. Still subscribe. Leave a thumbs up if you haven't already. And as always, folks, hold those doors open. Let that lady in ahead of you in traffic. Do good things, and good things will happen to you. Why? Because Doug's wife is real. Yep.
Don't litter.
Don't litter. Definitely don't litter.
Keep your stick on the ice.
Keep your stick on the ice. Terry likes to rip off red green. That's
We're sending Terry after you with a stick with spikes sticking out of it if you do litter.
And Dale at the end.
Dale at the end.